Hey everyone, this is Nick, Jess, Lily, and Jameson, and we're City Rockhounding. So on March 31st, that was our second year on YouTube, our anniversary, which is super exciting. I really appreciate all of you. We wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys helping us along the way. Made a lot of friends. You guys have been really inspiring and encouraging to us, and I appreciate every one of you. So thank you very much. To celebrate our anniversary, we decided that we were going to do a Q&A, answer some questions about us that you guys had for us. So I really appreciate all the questions that came in. There's some really good ones, and I'm excited to do this. So to start out with the questions, the first ones came from Sean at Outdoor Adventures with Fade. You should definitely go check out his channel. I get a lot of my inspiration from him and his work and his knowledge also that he shares with us. It's helped me to identify a lot of the rocks that I've been finding over the years since we live pretty close to each other. And for his first question, what is your favorite time of year to take pictures? That's a really good question, Sean. I appreciate that. And to answer it, I would have to say fall. And honestly, it took me a little bit to think about that. It took me a few. Because all the seasons are really pretty. I think it's a pretty special world we live in. But fall, I would say, because of all the colors and there's still flowers out. There's just a lot going on and everything's really pretty. And when I take photos, I like to look at the detail and the colors to me that pop out. That's what stands out to me. For his second question, what is your favorite fossil? Now that's a really hard one for me. And I'd have to say all of them, or whatever one I found at that particular moment would be my favorite. I like them all, and mainly because I like the fact that these fossils millions of years ago all used to be alive. So I think that's really cool and exciting. And I always wonder what it was like back then, what the world looked like, how everything was, what was different, and just the whole timeline of that fossil's life. I think that'd be cool to see and experience. So it's hard for me to say which fossil is my favorite, because they're all really cool. For Sean's last question here, do you like to collect and eat morels? Morel mushrooms. And I personally don't like to eat a lot of mushrooms, but I know my wife does, and she's been out when she was younger, out morel hunting. She used to do that, which is pretty cool. Me, I've never had the right timing down and the right time of year to go out, which I'm trying to plan correctly this year, so hopefully at least I can see some and experience that. I think that'd be pretty cool. That was a good question. I appreciate these, Sean. And thanks for being the first one to answer or ask questions too. Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy. So the next set of questions here come from our good friend Soul Adventurous, Cheryl. Everyone should go check out her channel. She does some really cool stuff over there. I really appreciate you asking these too. For her first question, I'm going to kind of read this all together here. What got you into rock hounding in the city? As someone who lives in the metro, it really doesn't have a lot to offer as far as hounding opportunities. Yet you seem to find amazing locations to video and cool items to share with us as you make your treks. That's a really good question. And for me, I would have to say a lot of it is because I live in Michigan. Michigan provides a lot of rocks all around, rocks and fossils. So I think that kind of makes it a little easier too for me. But also, living in the city, I use Google Earth and Google Maps a lot to hunt down rivers and creeks and places in nature that I can go exploring. As much as I can, at least. Start in parks and try to find, kind of big parks that you can go in that isn't on private land. Or if you can get permission to walk on, that'd be cool too. But that's, I think, where I kind of start from and expand outwards from there. And, you know, we'll do a little traveling if I have to. And to expand that a little further, I also have a cabin up north in mid-Michigan, which is out in the woods. It's on a lake, but there's tons of woods behind us. And that's where the sandbox is, the railroad, Limestone Park, all those cool places that are all within a mile or two within each other. So that's where I've done a lot of my rock hounding lately. But the future rock hounding here is going to be more so in the city now, because I've been spending a lot of time lately downstate. So for her next question here, and last question, I enjoyed the calm, relaxing nature of your videos. What gave you the idea to use this style of editing? That's a really good question, and I'm glad you asked it. I'd like to explain that. So for me, especially in the beginning, a lot of the stuff I was finding when I first started creating this channel, and I first really started learning about rock hounding too, was I didn't find all those carnelian agates or Lake Superior agates or anything cool like that, petrified wood, you know, banded shirt, things like that that I didn't find up until recently, really. But because I wasn't finding those things, I wanted to bring something else that kind of made it exciting and fun for everyone still to tune in and kind of experience what I was experiencing. And then from there, I think it just grew into more. And now I'm kind of thinking, you know, I like to raise people's vibrations and have good energy, positive energy out there as much as possible. So I like to share that too. Anytime you can have good vibes out there, I think that's important. So I really appreciate those questions, Cheryl. Thank you very much. My next question here is from my good friend Blind Squirrel Rocks, who you may know or have seen in the comments below. He's a really good friend. His question is, have you taken any photography or cinematography classes or courses in the past? And to answer that, no, I haven't, but I have gotten a lot of inspiration and I've kind of taught myself a lot just through, you know, watching videos and learning from my friends, especially Charlie and Liz over with the Adventure Closet. I've gotten a lot of my photography knowledge from him, Charlie. He's taught me a lot of things, and the perspectives that Charlie and Liz use in their videos has really kind of expanded my mind and made me look outside the box and think a little differently about things. Same thing with Sean, with Outdoor Adventures with Fade. Another thing when it comes to photography was when Charlie and Liz challenged me with the 365 photo challenge. That was really difficult for me. And really doing that at, you know, entry level when I first started getting into photography, I think was a big step. Something I'd never challenged myself with, like something that long term, I think before, was what was really crazy to me. Having to take a photo every single day and making sure that you took enough time out of each day to do it too, to really focus and pay attention to the little things in this world. And that's when I kind of noticed nature more. Seeing that every little thing about it really is beautiful in its own way. And then that's also kind of why I like to always say and tell people that nature is really the true artist here. I just choose the perspective of its beauty that I like to share. To further answer that question, when I first started out, Lily was a huge part of our editing. She handled all that for the first few videos until I kind of started learning myself and kind of grew from there. And that kind of took off into a whole nother passion of mine now. which I enjoy doing. To me, I think my editing skill level is still kind of basic. I try to keep everything on a simple level. I just try to really put them together artistically, I think I would say. And I do a lot of the same things when it comes to editing, but I think the way that they're put together is what makes them more of an experience and a feeling, and that's my ultimate goal there, is to make somebody feel something from my videos. I really appreciate that question, Mark. Thank you. Next question here from another good friend and fellow YouTube channel, J&V Rockhounding with Jeff and Vicky. And their question is, if you could go anywhere rockhounding, where and for what? That's a really good question. And I think I have probably 100 different answers for that, because honestly, I'd want to go to a bunch of different places and find a bunch of different things. But ultimately, I think the first thing that comes to mind is, even though you're not allowed to go rock hounding there, I think it would be cool to go to Arizona, the Petrified Forest, and find some really cool agatized petrified wood there. I thank you for that question, Jeff and Vicky. I really appreciate it. Next up here, another good friend, SRL Gemstone. Another good YouTube channel everyone should check out. Some really beautiful agates that they cut open over there. I think everyone would enjoy that. First question, do you have a background in geology or anything artistic? Not so much geology, but I do and have been trying to learn about geology and the layout of the land and things like that. And my biggest, I think, passion when it comes to geology would be the eroding ground and the way water carves through this world. I think it's pretty magical and special there. But when it comes to artistic, I think engineering, the field that I'm in, has a lot of artistic points to it when it comes to creating equipment and designing things and systems like that in a 3D world. I think that's a little artistic. And I've also taken some art classes growing up over the years, mainly drawing, a little bit of modeling, and also my mom is a drawer and painter, and I grew up around that. So I think the knowledge has always kind of been there. It's just more so hands-on experience. That's a really good question. And for the second question, where does your interest in nature come from? That is an awesome question. I'm glad you asked that. And I would have to say that my interest comes from, I've always felt a really strong connection to when it comes to walking through the woods. I always had this strong energy about me, a really positive attitude. It's always uplifting, a great experience. I feel like you get energized from the woods and hanging out in nature. And that's also what I like to share in my videos and kind of help make other people feel that experience and emotions too. That's a really good question. Thank you. Last up here, but definitely not least, Lisa Largent, Largent45. I think everyone knows her. She's really a huge part of this community and definitely a huge inspiration to me and my family and a big part of this channel. Lisa's first question is, for me and Lily, what was your favorite moment of the last 2 years? And for me, I would have to say that would be when Charlie and Liz came to visit us. That was a really special day. They hung out with us all day. We went rock hounding, came back, had dinner together, and they were off on their next journey. That was a really cool experience. One I'd like to do again.
My favorite moment was going out to Clinton River and having a competition with my dad about who could find the best rocks.
Lisa's next question is for all of us. What was your favorite find so far, and where was it found? I would have to say for me, my favorite find was the agate I recently found at the sandbox. The sandbox is a pretty cool place. It really just keeps providing also awesome pieces over and over again. Seems endless.
My favorite find so far was our first gastropod on the railroad tracks.
Yeah, that was a pretty good one. Lisa's third question here is for me and Lily. If you could go back and do anything differently, what would you change? And I would think when it comes to rock hounding in these videos, I would think I would do differently is going back and actually making a video when Charlie and Liz came to visit us. I was a bit nervous, and I really wanted to experience that on a personal level, and I look back at it and wish I did make a video out of it.
Something different I would do is probably go back and go out rock hounding with my dad more.
Lisa's next question is for Jess and Lily. What did you think when you first saw the horses? And at any point, did you think that this is too hard and want to give up? That's a really good question.
Well, when I first saw the horses, I knew I was in love, and they were my forever horses. And when it got too hard at some point, I knew that me and my mom would get through it with the support of my dad and brother.
I thought that they were skinny and frightened out of their minds, and I thought, what did I do? It was probably one of the scariest moments of my life. I didn't even want to stand next to them in a stall. They were so scared and freaking out and extremely psychotic, and it was my first horses I've ever bought, and I was like, I am so in over my head, and I am embarrassed. And I stuck it out, and there's probably at least, I don't even know, 50 times that I wanted to give up, but I said, no, it's not fair to them, and I will learn, and I think I've learned pretty fast, and have gained a lot of knowledge, and comparing me to other horse people that have been doing it for much longer, I feel like I'm definitely a better horse person. Not to be cocky, but yeah. So yes, I wanted to give up many times, and they are much healthier and happier and still a little crazy, but much better. And I'm glad I stuck it out.
This next question is for Lily. How was it when your dad and mom said you could have your own channel?
Well, when they said that I could start my own channel, I was so excited and was so excited to post for everyone that I loved.
Also for Lily, do you want to go to college, and what do you want to be when you grow up?
I do want to go to college, and I want to be a horse trainer and have my own training facility.
And Lisa's last question is for all of us. What are your plans going into the future for the horses, the other house, and your careers? It's a good question. Thanks, Lisa.
Who knows what the future holds? It's constantly changing, and we'll see.
Well, that's going to do it for all the questions. I really appreciate everyone that asked. It really means a lot. And they were really good questions, too. I think they helped answer a lot of things that people didn't know about us. I think that's really cool. I really appreciate everyone watching, and we had a lot of fun doing this. It was nice. Something different for me making this video. And it was a cool experience. I really appreciate all of you. Your support really means the world to us. Thank you so much. And we hope you all have a great day. And we'll see you on the next journey. Goodbye.